Today, we're diving into a cult classic that mixed horror, humor, and action in a way only a 90s game could. Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the Super Nintendo. Get ready to save your neighborhood from a monstrous invasion, one quirky level at a time. Developed by LucasArts and published by Konami, Zombies Ate My Neighbors was a unique creation in the gaming world of the early 90s. The development team, led by the imaginative minds at LucasArts, set out to create a game that was both fun and tongue-in-cheek, drawing inspiration from classic horror films and B-movies. The developers pushed the Super Nintendo to its creative limits, crafting a game that stood out with its cartoony graphics and humorous take on the horror genre. Each enemy and level was designed with a sense of playfulness, from chainsaw-wielding maniacs to giant babies, showcasing the team's flair for the absurd. The game also stood out for its two-player cooperative gameplay, a feature that was not as common at the time. This choice fostered a shared gaming experience, making it a favorite for friends and siblings to play together. The development of Zombies Ate My Neighbors was a blend of innovation, humor, and a deep appreciation for classic horror tropes, resulting in a game that was both a nod to the past and a fresh take on the action genre. Zombies Ate My Neighbors crept onto the Super Nintendo in September 1993, a time when gaming was exploring new genres and ideas. The release was met with curiosity and excitement, as it offered something different from the usual Super Nintendo titles. The game arrived during a golden era for the Super Nintendo, surrounded by classic titles in various genres. However, Zombies Ate My Neighbors managed to carve out its own niche, appealing to gamers who were looking for a mix of humor, action, and a touch of horror. Its release was also timely in the sense that it played into the growing popularity of horror movies among younger audiences. The game's lighthearted take on horror themes made it accessible and fun, without being too frightening for its target demographic. In Zombies Ate My Neighbors, players navigate through 55 levels of monster-filled mayhem, controlling either Zeke or Julie. The goal is simple yet challenging: save your neighbors from an array of bizarre creatures before they meet their untimely demise. The gameplay is a frantic blend of running, dodging, and using an arsenal of zany weapons like soda can, grenades, and water guns. The variety of enemies, each with their unique behaviors, keeps players on their toes. You might be dodging zombies one minute and avoiding killer dolls the next. One of the game's highlights is its cooperative play. Teaming up with a friend adds a strategic layer, as players must coordinate their actions and resource management to survive the onslaught. The game also features hidden bonus levels and a variety of power-ups, adding depth and replayability. With its easy-to-learn controls and escalating difficulty, Zombies Ate My Neighbors delivers a gameplay experience that is both accessible and challenging. The story of Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a playful homage to horror movies. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, focusing more on fun and action than a deep narrative. Set in a typical suburban neighborhood, the game sees Zeke and Julie, two teenagers, taking on the role of unlikely heroes. When their neighbors start getting attacked by a horde of classic horror movie monsters, it's up to them to save the day. Each level in the game is like a mini-episode from a horror anthology, complete with its own unique setting and monsters. From backyard barbecues gone wrong to shopping malls overrun with undead, the game keeps the scenarios fresh and humorous. While the story is light on details, it's heavy on charm. The game's narrative strength lies in its ability to spoof and celebrate the horror genre, creating a backdrop that's both familiar and delightfully absurd. The soundtrack of Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a perfect accompaniment to its quirky and spooky gameplay. Composed by Joe McDermott, the music is a blend of upbeat tunes and eerie melodies that capture the game's horror comedy essence. Each track is crafted to enhance the atmosphere of the levels, from the suspenseful rhythms in the haunted house levels to the quirky beats in the more bizarre stages. The music plays a significant role in setting the tone, balancing the horror elements with a sense of fun. The sound effects are equally fitting, with comical screams, howls, and the satisfying sounds of weapons hitting their monstrous targets. These effects add to the game's charm, making each encounter with the creatures amusing and engaging. Overall, the sound and music in Zombies Ate My Neighbors are key components of its appeal, adding layers to the gameplay and immersing players in a world that's both spooky and whimsical. Zombies Ate My Neighbors may not have been a blockbuster hit, but it's become a cult classic, cherished by fans for its unique take on the action genre. The game's blend of horror, humor, and engaging gameplay has earned it a special place in the hearts of retro gamers. Its influence can be seen in the way it paved the path for other horror-themed games that don't take themselves too seriously. The game showed that horror elements could be fun and approachable, inspiring future titles to explore this blend of genres. The game also holds a cultural significance for its depiction of cooperative gameplay. It's remembered fondly as a game that friends and siblings would play together, bonding over shared victories and defeats against the hordes of monsters. In online gaming communities and retro gaming events, Zombies Ate My Neighbors continues to be celebrated for its originality and nostalgic value. It's a game that captured the spirit of its time while creating a lasting legacy in the gaming world. For many, Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a nostalgic treasure, reminding them of the whimsical side of 90s gaming. The game's pixel art graphics are a hallmark of the era, evoking memories of a time when creativity and gameplay trumped graphical fidelity. The simple joy of exploring each level, discovering secret areas, and rescuing neighbors brings back memories of afternoons spent in front of the TV, Super Nintendo controller in hand. The game's humor and light-hearted approach to the horror genre also remind players of a time when games were about fun and escapism. The cooperative aspect of the game is another source of nostalgia. For many, Zombies Ate My Neighbors was a shared experience, played with friends or family, creating memories that last a lifetime. Even the game's difficulty, which could be both frustrating and rewarding, is a nostalgic element. It reminds players of a time when games didn't hold your hand, challenging you to learn and improve with each attempt. Zombies Ate My Neighbors holds up surprisingly well in terms of modern playability. Its straightforward controls and timeless gameplay mechanics make it accessible to new players, while its challenging levels and variety of enemies offer enough depth to keep veteran gamers engaged. The game's cooperative play is still a standout feature, offering a fun and collaborative gaming experience that's as enjoyable today as it was in the 90s. This aspect of gameplay is particularly appealing in an era where local multiplayer games are seeing a resurgence. For those who appreciate retro gaming, Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a must-play. It offers a unique blend of genres and a creative approach to game design that is refreshing in today's gaming landscape. Furthermore, the game's availability on modern platforms and emulators makes it accessible to a new generation of gamers. This accessibility ensures that Zombies Ate My Neighbors continues to be discovered and enjoyed by both those who played it back in the day and newcomers alike. And that wraps up our look at Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Whether you were a pro at saving every neighbor or just enjoyed the chaos of dodging zombies, this game holds a special place in the pantheon of retro classics. Share your memories and favorite levels in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Join us next time for another trip down memory lane. Keep gaming, and remember, the neighbors are counting on you.